So, how should we look at this novel? This novel is a representation of life as a struggle against unconquerable natural forces, in which a kind of victory is possible. Thus, it becomes an epic metaphor for life, a contest in which even the problem of right and wrong seems paltry before the great thing, that is the struggle. It is also something like Greek tragedy, in that as the hero falls and fails, the audience gets a memorable glimpse of what stature a man may attain. And it is a Christian tragedy as well, especially in the several marked allusions to Christian symbolism, particularly of the crucifixion, a development in Hemingway's novels that begins, apparently without much importance, in the early novels and gathers strength in a novel like Across the River and Into the Trees, and comes to a kind of climax in The Old Man and the Sea. Again, the view of life in this novel had a long evolution from the days of total despair. It represents, nonetheless, an extraordinary change in its author. There is a respect for life's struggle and for mankind in general. And this seems to have dawned on Hemingway later as a kind of a gift. The knowledge that a simple man is capable of the decency, dignity, and even heroism that Santiago possesses, and that his battle can be seen in heroic terms, is itself perhaps the greatest victory that Hemingway won. So, perhaps after Hemingway finished this novel, he had remarked that he had got finally what he had been working for all his life. Now, the plot of The Old Man and the Sea is apparently quite simple, but actually intricately designed. Most critics agree that the theme of this book is man's capacity to withstand and transcend hardships of time and circumstance. The idea is conveyed through Santiago's adventures with the marlin and with the sharks. Hemingway depicts in circumstantial detail elemental tests of endurance, that is, physical struggle with the fish, fatigue that sets in, solitude because the old man is all alone in the wide open sea, old age with which he has to contend with, an impending death, and sometimes he has this feeling of impending death because he is quite old and all his energy is drained out when he has to fight with this fish to bring it up. So all these things assail Santiago. He is subjected to all these things. And also his courageous response, summoning both physical energy and imaginative vision to counter the forces which are there to test him. Now, when the marlin takes out line, Santiago pulls in. When he is surrounded by the darkness of night, Santiago dreams of golden and white beaches, of the African continent. When he is threatened by the weakness of old age, he summons visions of his own youthful strength. Hemingway presents the action not in abstract terms, gain and loss, strength and weakness, youth and age, but in vivid images such as the marlin and the sharks, the right hand and the left hand, through the young boy Manolin and through, of course, Santiago, the old fisherman. Now, Hemingway reflects the central action of the story, of course, which is Santiago's adventures with the marlin and with the sharks, in a number of miniature actions. Some incidents appropriate to the sea setting anticipate the pattern of the central chase. The episode of the man-of-war bird resolutely but unsuccessfully chasing flying fish suggests Santiago's coming effort to land his great marlin. The tired warbler, threatened by hawks on his way homewards, anticipates the tired Santiago's fight with the sharks. Other incidents show how man at his best can respond to natural stresses like those of the chase. To keep his will strong and to inspire his best effort, Santiago recalls his morning victory after the difficult night of his 24-hour hand-wrestling contest with the Negro from Cienfuegos. He emulates the great baseball player DiMaggio, who plays like a champion despite the pain of a bone spar on his foot. Hemingway also employs the crucifixion imagery to describe Santiago's suffering. This imagery surpasses the models of heroism visualized by Santiago himself.